Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of My Parents Let Me Watch Some Crazy Shit Growing Up. After the last video, I kept thinking about what other crazy stuff I watched as a kid, and I kept coming back to one show, which was Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. Beyond Belief was another sci-fi show. It aired in the 90s and early 2000s, and basically the whole gimmick of that show is that they would show you 5 short stories, and you would have to guess at the end which ones were real and which ones were made up by writers. And you could never guess anytime you played because they made it almost impossible. So what I figured we'd do is we'd watch one of these episodes together, and then you can play along with me and let me know if you can correctly guess which ones are fact and which ones are fiction, because I bet money that you can't. Because I never could. Maybe you're smarter than me, I don't know.
Blood is not only thicker than water, it's also more informative. Through the analysis of blood types, chemical makeup, and DNA, we can learn much about a person's family ties, even after that person's been dead for centuries. Most of us don't need to submit to extensive testing to confirm our family relationships. We have only to look in the mirror to get the genetic links to our parents and our siblings. Lorene has never felt that way.
So our first story tonight is about a character named Lorene. She is certain that she was adopted.
I was about to marry my childhood sweetheart. We were perfect for each other. We had absolutely everything in common. Of course, to get our marriage license, the state required a blood test.
Sweetheart, you don't really believe you were adopted.
I'm sorry, Mother, but I do.
I brought these. You've seen them before. They were all taken when you were a little girl.
I love that her mom's proof of her not being adopted is that there's pictures of her in their family home as a toddler, which doesn't prove anything.
But Mom, the blood test
Was wrong. The lab made a mistake.
The lab with science can't be wrong. I have all these pictures.
I can't possibly think about the future until I know my history. Dawn, I'm sorry, but I can't marry you until I know the truth.
Yes, I cannot get married until I figure out if I've been adopted, because those two things are 100% connected to each other, and that argument makes perfect sense.
So even if you really were adopted, so what?
So what?
That's in the past, honey. And right now, we have a wedding to plan.
Who cares if you're adopted? That's a pretty important thing that most people would care about.
We're soulmates, remember? We're born to be married.
Best friends, born on the same day, New Year's babies. I've always loved that we had the same birthday.
So at this point, we find out that they both have the same birthday. And with that piece of information, you probably already know where this is going, which would make you way smarter than them because they don't see this coming at all. This hits them like a ton of bricks.
Well, these are the old files from before everything was done on computers. The medical records you're asking about are here somewhere.
So they go down to the world's dustiest records room and just start pulling out files, which I guess is something you're allowed to do.
This is it. Here's a copy of your birth certificate.
January 1st. It's odd. Someone wrote boy, then crossed it out, and wrote girl.
Well, you're definitely a girl. I can vouch for that.
Ew.
You know, I remember that night. I was an attendant nurse. New Year's Eve, power lines were down, the hospital was working on backup generators.
And 2 women in labor came in that night.
And look, on my mother's admitting form, baby boy is written and then marked out.
Well, it was so hectic, I suppose the nurse wrote it down wrong and then the doctor corrected it.
Keep going, you're almost there.
I was born the same night, in the middle of the same chaos. But my mother's record said baby girl, but it's crossed out and changed to boy.
Is it possible that the paperwork wasn't mixed up, but that the babies were?
So on that very dramatic note, our first story ends. This next story I remember vividly because it absolutely scarred me as a child, and it's going to be really funny when you see what it actually is, but I'll let it play.
Every community has a home like the Ratcher House. It's the one owned by the meanest man in town. Luckily, the townspeople didn't have to interact with Harold much. He lived on the other side of the bridge.
Thought I'd put some candy in a bowl.
Ain't gonna be no kids coming by here tonight.
Not after the lesson I taught him last year.
I wouldn't be so proud of that, Harold Ratcher.
Now, based on that shot that we got of the reverse angle of the insides being pulled out of that pumpkin, you would think that that pumpkin is going to be important later. But here's the thing. It isn't.
Oh, what frightening costumes. You know how I feel about that.
So Harold's an asshole. He hates kids. That's not a sentence. Harold's an asshole. He hates kids. He hates Halloween. He casually threatens him with a knife like you do, right?
Harold, don't.
This right here is what terrified me as a child.
You're a little big for a trick-or-treat, huh?
So are you.
Did she just fat shame her husband?
Should have cut those branches. They're gonna be scraping all night.
Good God, it's still scary now. The way that they included the fake teeth in the shot made me think that he was gonna, like, grab the knife and then grab the teeth. Oh boy, there's a home intruder. Better put my fake teeth in.
The storm flooded the creek. The bridge between us and town washed away hours ago.
That's impossible. The bridge washed away. Then how did the kid in the monster suit get over to our house?
We haven't had a bridge in 30 years.
Was Harold Ratcher victimized by his own cruel imagination? Or did someone sneak across the bridge before the rain washed it out? Someone who was perhaps out for revenge against Harold Ratcher. Or was the culprit, as some think, Harold's wife, Mary? But then how do you explain the Grim Reaper? It couldn't possibly have been her, could it?
My favorite thing about Jonathan Frakes as a host is he always poses a line of thought, and then plays devil's advocate to the line of thought, and then plays devil's advocate to that. Watson, I've decided that the culprit must have been the banker. Okay. But how could it have been the banker? The banker was out of town. Alright. But only the banker would have had the keys to those locks and had perfect motive to kill the victim. Sure, but then how do you explain the claw marks, Watson? Sir, this is a McDonald's.
Do you have a pet? Chances are it's a dog or a cat. Wendy Baker is a proud cat lover. In fact, you might say that the attention she pays to her cat, named Precious, is obsessive. It's enough attention to fill a lifetime, or, for that matter, 9 lifetimes.
Joke police, I'm calling the joke police.
As a child psychologist, I had worked with hundreds of cases, but never before had I entered a situation not knowing the nature of the problem.
Wendy really loved that cat. I mean, Precious slept on her bed every night on a special pillow, followed Wendy around like a shadow. It was really sweet.
Well, where is the cat?
Oh, well...
They said was, lady. What do you think was means?
Good baby. You're hungry today, huh? Did you miss me?
Figured give her a little time.
Yeah, but it's been 2 months. It's a little bizarre.
Maybe I should have agreed to seek out help sooner, but kids, teenagers, they're supposed to act eccentric.
Ah yes, I remember when I went through my talking to dead animals phase.
She pretends Precious is still alive.
The food actually disappears. In the morning, it's half eaten.
Have you tried to make her stop?
Well, for a while, we went along with the charade. We thought maybe it would be better for her.
So you thought your kid was eating cat food and you just let that slide?
I'd like to tell Wendy that I want to photograph Precious. Maybe she'll warm up to me more quickly that way. Would you mind if I used your camera?
What? And play right into her fantasy?
You just said that you let her eat cat food.
Hey, how would you feel if I took some pictures of Precious?
She always loves taking her afternoon naps in this pillow.
Oh, hey?
So this girl is talking to a non-existent cat, and the parents call in a psychiatrist. and the psychiatrist, with no prompting whatsoever, decides to just take a picture of her with the cat.
Hey, how about if I take a picture of you holding Precious?
Sure. Okay.
Now I knew why Mrs. Baker was so upset.
It was a ghost cat. You know how cats are ghosts sometimes?
Does this story of the invisible cat deserve to be deposited in the bank of truth? Or have we tossed another lie into the kitty?
Look at his face. Look how proud he is of that joke.
Keys that unlock doors to hotel and motel rooms. Something most of us take for granted. But think about the mysteries that exist in the simple act of opening a motel door.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but
Who has stayed here before? What activities took place here? Has anything been left behind? And what will await you during your stay?
Yes, sir. Here is your key. Enjoy your stay. What secrets to the unknown are hidden behind this door? It has a mini fridge.
My husband was once a good cop, but the years on the force had made him cold and hard about criminals. And lately he was burned out and getting himself into big trouble.
We got a quiet room.
They're all quiet around here.
Oh, so he's an asshole. Don't say he's burned out like he's a daily vlogger who needs a holiday.
I had seen the old woman's reaction to the paper through the office window. She knew who Joe was, all right. I just wish I did. And then something totally strange happened.
Hey!
Joe, what are you doing?
I thought I saw...
My God, did you hurt yourself?
It's blood.
Great detective work.
Are you okay?
Sure. I'm not gonna let them beat me.
Honey, it's all this stress you've been under. The way these internal affairs people in the press have hounded you.
Those bastards. After everything I've given. And the courts, the courts, they protect the guilty. And don't think that I don't know which ones are guilty.
Am I supposed to like Joe? Because I don't like him. He's a bad dude. I get that they're trying to put like 5 of these into every single episode, but like the pacing is just so ridiculous on this show. Oh, here I am washing my face, and oh, there's a cowboy. The dead cowboy.
Why? What the hell do you want?
I like that he wakes up with a ghost at the foot of his bed, and he's just like, why? It's the 5th time this week, Jerry.
Wake up! Hey! Hey, right now, you're gonna tell me what's in our room. What is it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't lie to me.
No!
Calm down, my guy.
I only know what other people have told me.
What?
A long time ago, a man named William Bonney was killed in an unfair gunfight, and some people believe that his spirit remained here.
You're telling me that this hotel is haunted?
So not only is Joe completely violent and terrible, he's kind of a Karen.
Do you really believe all this about a ghost?
A lot of people believe it. Some think he's waiting on a chance for revenge.
You know, maybe this is a story about like he'll change his ways or he'll, become a better person. Oh no, he's dead. He's just dead. Okay. So they're actually asking us to decide with logic if the ghost of Billy the Kid came back to kill someone. Okay.
These are all things that come in handy when your car gets a flat tire. Of course, many people choose to just stay in their car and call the auto club. But sometimes phones aren't available.
The only thing that dates this one more than saying that sometimes phones aren't available is the fact that this whole episode is about 2 people that get to be outside.
feel better if you put on your seatbelt.
Just stop worrying. You look fine. Your dress is fine.
You're not listening to me. Besides which, I'm wearing slacks.
Hey honey, could you put on your seatbelt? Like, it would make me feel better because, you know, you'd be safer and then nothing would happen to you and... Huh? Oh, no, your dress looks great, honey. These are cargo pants.
Whatever, you look all right.
Is that Roy Anderson? Don't worry, guys, this one really shows off his range. He plays a terrible boyfriend in this one.
I make plenty of time for you.
Oh, just like you make time for your boss, your friends, your golf buddies?
You know, when I'm working late, it's for us. When I'm golfing with a client, it's for us.
When I'm sleeping with my secretary, say it with me, honey, it's for us.
Great. I think we have a flat.
Looks like you need help.
Knock yourself out. Where'd he come from?
I don't know. Is this a good idea?
We'll give him a couple of bucks.
I don't think that's the question she asked, but alright.
Sometimes the direction we choose is not the right one. Sometimes we try to please so many others, we lose sight of those who are most important. The ones we truly love.
This guy talks like those shitty Instagram accounts that just like are inspirational, but they don't really actually tell you anything of value.
Life is work. Any heavy load can be made lighter when two work together, as opposed to pulling in opposite directions.
So how far are you going?
I'll know when the time comes to leave you.
David? Oh my God, he's gone! He's gone! He must have fallen out.
Yes, because people fall out of cars all the time. In real life, not just in cartoons. Okay, so now we get to the good part. Now we get to figure out which ones of these are real and which ones of these are fake.
What was your opinion of the story of the couple in love who turned out to be switched at birth? Is this one too fantastic to be true? Not really.
Okay. I believe that. I mean, that's highly unlikely, but yeah, I guess that could be true. That's cool.
Now let's take a look at the evil Halloween Scrooge who was paid back for his treachery by an unexplainable force. Did you think our research staff found a story inspired by an actual event? Not this time. It's the creation of a writer.
Okay, so that one wasn't real. Technically, I feel like that one could have been real because, like, it's basically just a dude, like, an old dude having a heart attack after somebody broke into his house, but you know, whatever. It was made up by a writer who is personally responsible for scarring me for life, but okay.
How did you judge the story of the girl with the imaginary cat? Did we make up this story of the young woman obsessed by a cat that nobody but her could see? No.
Oh, fuck off. You're telling me that the invisible ghost cat was a real story?
What did you make of the tale of the crooked policeman who apparently received his revenge from the ghost of Billy the Kid? According to our research, a similar event to this one did occur in a period between the world wars in the American Southwest. It's fact.
I think you need to cite your sources, Jonathan Frakes. I don't really buy that.
Now let's review the story of the mysterious hitchhiker who changed the lives of a married couple. If you thought this one was based on an actual event, you're right. It's a story that has been reported by travelers along a highway in New York State. It's fact.
And the relationship expert, Facebook inspiration ghost was apparently real. Okay, you know, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So that was an episode of Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. I don't know if anybody remembers this show. I don't know if anybody aside from me and my mom watched this show, but I really loved it. And it was a really big part of my childhood. And it was ridiculous, and it was poorly made, and I love it. And I wanted to talk about it. So now I have. So now that I have, I'm gonna end this video. So if you were playing along with me, let me know how many you actually got right. If you're telling me that you actually guessed that the ghost cat was real, I just don't believe you. Thanks for watching this video, guys. My name is Avery. I am not a YouTuber. This is not a YouTube channel. Good night.